Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new Hubsan product. This is the X4 Storm or the H122D and is nothing else than the brushed FPV. Racer or not, we will see at the conclusion. So what we have with this deluxe bundle, we have the Quadcopter, full carbon based, at least for the bottom and main arm parts, very strong 10mm, around 10mm brush motor, so super large brush motor working in 2S, non-movable FPV camera, able also to record up to a 720p video thanks to a built-in DVR, so that's great. And what we have, we are more or less the same shape that recent racer introduced by Walker some time ago. And with the deluxe edition, we have also associated with the transmitter an FPV monitor, okay, and there is also a built-in DVR as well as a mask to answer this FPV monitor in order to transform it into an FPV mask. That's great. So let's open the content of this new Hubsan product. Okay, here are all the elements. First of all, I will start with accessories. The instruction manual. The main one is this black one, H122D X4 Storm, where on the first pages you will find all the elements, for example, to bind, but I will show how to proceed, especially when you will want to associate with the FPV monitor. How to bind, okay, and here how to reset gyroscope, okay. I will show also at the video or in the field, and how to install everything into at least the FPV monitor into the Google mask. And finally, in the other side, you can find the role of each transmitter button, okay, as well as each button of the FPV monitor. So what we have also in terms of instruction, we have the hold the part list, okay, and disclaimer, warning, instruction. So for the accessories, we have a screwdriver, will be useful to unmount and to replace props. We have a charger ending with a 2S balancer plug, and this one no real information except that it's outputting up to 0.8 ampere, so it will take close to 1 hour and a half to recharge the battery. Okay, the battery, it's 710 milliamps power. It's not exactly a LiPo, even it's written, because you can see that the nominal voltage is no more 7.4 but 7.6, so it's probably a LEHV battery with a discharge rate of 30C, which is not bad. And if you are interested by the dimension, I will give them immediately. So it's more or less square by 48 by 20, more or less, by this 190. And as you can see, no main lead connector, only the balancer plug, so you cannot use out of the box your classic hair charger. Okay, that's a drawback. And let's give an information about the weight. It's about 31.4 gram. Okay, so it's strongly advised to find maybe a third-party replacement with a main lead connector, GST1, for example. What we have a bag with 4 spare props. The hub is more larger, okay, to welcome the screws is something about 3mm, and the length of them are about 65mm. Only 4, since we don't have any prop guards, it may be a drawback, and when we'll see the total weight, it can be a problem. We have a bag with a sun hood to attach to the FPV monitor, and good news, it seems that it's also possible to attach this sun hood into the classic H501S transmitter. Okay, so just 5 seconds to assemble, and it's good for racing with very strong daylight. USB to micro USB cable, okay, and now we have also, and already attached it, a 5.8 GHz antenna, okay, and it's ending in RPECME if I'm not wrong. Okay, and we have the FPV monitor. So it's a 4.3 inch, and as you can see with the reflection, the screen, the display has got a very bright screen, okay, but you will see that the contrast and the brightness is not so bad. So how to turn? We have on the right side a micro USB, okay, the power switch, and here I already pre-inserted a micro SD card. We have a built-in DVR, that's great. Unfortunately, no micro SD card is provided, okay, neither for the FPV monitor or for the racer. So I use a class 10, okay, even for the FPV monitor. So we have the attach to install the sun hood, and here on the left side we have 4 buttons where everything is written. We have the mode, okay, so I will turn on the FPV monitor. After the logo, Hubsan logo appearing, as you can see, whatever, the angle of brightness is not so bad, huh? Look at that. So I'm very optimistic for even for strong daylight that it will be visible. So no display because I turn off the quadcopter, but whatever, here we have the mode button where you can switch between the camera, where here this is a camera, or the photo mode. And when you want to start or trigger photo or video recording, you have to press this one, the second one, and it will take a photos, or if I am in video mode, you will see the time lapse appearing with here, okay, and press one more time to stop. Pretty obvious and is working well. Here we have the menu, so we can set the brightness, the contrast, the saturation, and here it's to select the current VFrame emitted by the quadcopter. Yes, you can tune this from the FPV monitor. It means there is a kind of link between the FPV monitor and the quadcopter, or the transmitter to be more precise. And this link, if you lost it, must be done by here. So out of the box, if you press it, it will remove all the OSD information. But if you long press on it, you can hear this, it's entering on the binding mode, and I will show how to use it because it's not so obvious. So now it's time to focus on the transmitter. The transmitter, okay, is the same that the recent model of Hubsan I reviewed, but this one is no more a Bluetooth radio transmitter. It's using the classic A7105 RF chip. It means that it's exactly the same radio protocol that the Hubsan H501S, for example. It means that if you want to use this radio, you will be able. Okay, that's great. So it's a more compact band style. Okay, very obvious, and if you push, you can install very easily the FPV monitor. So no big problem. Sorry, like this, and okay, so it's really adapted and it's not so heavy. The total weight is about I can give, but it's about 600 grams, and you will need for the transmitter 4 AAA batteries, and any MH batteries rechargeable are working. So to turn on the transmitter, you have to long press the power button. Okay, you will have this red LEDs for the power status and the blue for the link, and when it's flashing, it means that the link is not done. This button is to turn on and off the light of the quadcopter, while this one is to remove the OSD information. So either you can remove them by short press this one or by this one. And here on the top left we have some photos one, and it will be useful for the binding procedure as well as the camera here, okay, on the over on top right left. And this one, the 2 arrow one, are just used for the left and right trimming, that's all. So we have also some special mode here, okay, to perform some flips, and also some headless mode. Okay, so I want to show you now how to proceed, how to turn on, and let's check a little bit now the quadcopter. Ta-da-da! Here is the quadcopter. Let's immediately give the weight, okay, standalone, without any battery or some stuff like this. I will use a box as star support to be sure to measure correctly without any bias. So standalone, the machine and its quadcopter, it's 86.5 grams. And if I had the battery, we are now close to 117, so almost 18 grams, and there is no prop guard. I guess this is because it's already super heavy, and the prop guard will kill definitively the power of the machine. So 120 grams with direct brushed motors. How to proceed? No secret. They use 2S system, and it's no more a LiPo but LEHV, so more voltage, more power, and even look at the motors. If I can measure well, they start to be around, yes, 9 millimeters. Okay, so a little bit bigger, 9.5 millimeters. Okay, I'm not sure I completely measure well. In fact, it's 10 millimeters. Okay, so they are 10 millimeter brush quadcopter by 20, so very large, much more larger than the classic 8.5 by 20. We had all the bottom part is in carbon, that's great, and the thickness is about 2 millimeters, which is not so bad for this machine, and you can feel it's rigid and should not break very easily. Since we have brush motors, the motor maintenance will be raised, and look that we have a small connector here, so it means that we can really easily, I would say, after removing the prop, change them, replace them very easily. On front, look that, we have the FPV camera, okay, and it's possible to adjust the lens orientation. Great, Hubsan. Okay, and on front, if I can plug the battery, you will see a strong daylight, so for a lost flight, it's perfect. Okay, and on the rear, we have also some red light feedback. That's great, indicating also the status of the binding and so on. So the field of view of this FPV camera is large. It's about 120 degrees. Great. So they start to understand at Hubsan how to build a FPV machine. Is it a racer? We will see in a few instants. On the right side, and I already inserted, there is a small, okay, you will need very tiny fingers, long nails. You can remove or insert a micro SD card. So be sure to use a class 10 formatted in FAT32, so below than 32 gigabytes. Okay, class 10 minimum, and you will have to insert where the pins is bottom like this. There is no click, okay, just need to slide it into the port. Okay, and when it's blocked, it's ready. So let's measure. You can continue, pardon, sorry. And you have the battery strap already pre-installed, and here, okay, we can guess a kind of sink, okay, to cool all the video transmitter on the rear side. Okay, so there is a CE logo on the instruction manual, okay, here. So I guess it's a 25 milliwatt only. So it means that the FPV link will be limited, bounded close to 100 meters. We check that fact. And look that we have a linear antenna, but foldable one for transportation, okay? But at least we can install it vertically. That's great. Okay, let's continue. We have on the left side a micro USB port, so maybe there will be a kind of firmware update, but as far as I know, there is no specialized program to tune the PID settings, for example, so it cannot be plugged directly to Betaflight, and it means that all flight modes actually are locked by the system. Okay, damn. So pretend to be an FPV racer, it's a huge drawback. Anyway, let's continue. We have the ribbon cable here, okay, and well, the building is nice, it's feel solid. So let's measure the lateral carbon. That should be around 1 millimeter. That's all, even thinner, 0.70. Okay, it's not so important. Okay, so basically I really appreciate The building, it's heavy, close to 118 grams, but we have two S10mm brushed motors, so they should boost, associated with the LE-HV battery, should boost the performances. But be aware, I'll repeat one more time, we have brushed motors, so their durability will be limited, especially under stress of the 2S power. So things to stock immediately, at least one clockwise and one counterclockwise in advance, because I'm afraid after 20-30 flights, this one will be killed, and it's always happening on the same day in general. So now let's continue. And let's turn the machine. So I will show you a little bit the FPV rendition. So you can attach the battery like this. So it's really solidly installed inside this bay. So no problem. Okay, and strap like this, and just need to, for example, to turn around the linear antenna to avoid any prop contact potential, and it's turned on. We have the white flashing, etc. So after a few seconds, if I don't turn on the transmitter, the machine will beep. And good news, I forgot to mention, I will wait the bind, okay, and it should bind, okay, and it's beeping because I was too long to turn on the radio. So as you can hear, there is a bother, so I will turn off everything. Where is the bother? It's here, okay. So look that also all the electronic elements are freely available. We can guess there is also a micro FL linear connector. So if you for the antenna, so if you want to change it for a cloverleaf, it won't be a big problem. Be sure eventually to cover the bottom with such kind of liquid to make it waterproof, okay, especially if you're landing into wet grass, some stuff. So now let's replug everything, so I will be faster. Turn on the radio, okay, and after a couple of seconds, if everything is okay, the light should be solid, so it means that it's not bound, so it's perfect. I want to show you how to proceed. So you have to bound the transmitter, you have to press the photo button here, keep it pressed, okay, while powering. So we will first power the quadcopter. I will keep it pressed and power the button. Okay, and in this condition it's fast flashing, and it means that in the binding mode, and now it's fucking fast, it's bound. Now the light of the quadcopter is solid. Let's check if we have the video feedback. And we don't have it yet, but it's saying that there is SD card. So as I said previously, there is a kind of link between both. So how to proceed? We have to do the full binding procedure. It means that we have to turn on this one first in binding mode, then the radio, then the quadcopter. Let's do it. Okay, so I will turn off everything. Turn off it, okay, or I can keep it turned on. So I will long press this one, okay? It's beeping, okay? Now I will turn on the quadcopter. Hold and press the photo button while turning on, and long press the transmitter button. It's entering into the bind mode, and there is this kind of beep. Stop, and you will see immediately they change the information and the video will appear. It's great. So you can see, perfect. So it was the full procedure to bind the transmitter as well the FPV monitor to the quadcopter. Okay, first bind, enter into the binding mode of the FPV monitor, then into with the radio before to turn on to try to bind with the quadcopter. I said, okay, it was possible to bind this machine with a former transmitter. Let's say, for example, the H501S. We will do the same procedure. So here is the transmitter, okay. I will turn on it, okay. I will hold the photo button while turning on, and we will see. System initialized, bind to mode. Look, that is flashing fast. Great! We have the FPV feedback. No problem. And look that, even the the sticks are available. Great, it's working. And if you want, you can use such kind of radio, the jumper, if you want to fly with. It's working. One remark with the jumper, I found that it's more difficult to bind. There is you have to try it many times before to have a fully binding mode. Okay, so be aware of that. Maybe there is a problem with the frequency tune with the Hubsan protocol, but I want to show one trick. Okay, in the Derivation TX, when you select the Hubsan protocol, if you meet some problem, play with this frec tune parameters, okay, in order to bind more easily this one. Okay, it can be the problem. Now I will rebind with the original transmitter with everything. Since we bound with the H501S, we have to bind both the video and the transmitter to the quadcopter. So we will redo the operation. I will turn on the FPV monitor. Okay, wait, the Hubsan logo and turn on. Okay, no video. I will turn into bind mode. Okay, now I will turn on the quadcopter and press and hold the photo button while turning on the transmitter. Okay, tuk tuk tuk, and it will flash fast, then stay solid. Great, and now I've got the video. And look that, I said previously, this button here, big one, is to turn on off the LEDs. So the red one, the left one is indicating the power status, one the right is the binding. Okay, so when it's solid, it means that it's bound. So how to record with the DVR? No problem. You have to be in a video mode. Okay, like this. So this is the right logo, and then I can press the second one to record. Okay, and now I will record here, okay, the received signal, so after the transmission, so there will be some static on it. And you have to know that the file are recording in VGA 640 by 480. Okay, it's not exactly any NTSC OPAL format. So let's check now the transmission. And okay, we have to focus on it. So I will try to have my free hand. Okay, I will put some stuff like this. I don't know why it will block a bit to see better. Okay, I will make a kind of clutter. So let's check now a little bit the latency. You can feel that the latency is something about 0.1 second. Okay, so make a pause, but if you want, I can capture. Okay, I will use this tablet. Okay, and I will use a clock, and you will check by yourself. So where is this program? Okay, apps, and I need the clock, so should be here. Okay, and let's check that. I hope you will be able to see. Okay. Okay, and let's check that. So maybe we can make a small close-up. No. We seems to have something about 0.1 seconds, so close to 100 milliseconds, and is not acceptable for a fast FPV racer. Look at that. Okay, and there is another kind of problem in my point of view. Look, if I move like this fast, look that associated with the latency. Okay, the frame rate is not 100% at full speed compared to a pure analog system. I want to show you in comparison with another racer. Okay, this is a basic one using NTSC camera and basic 5.8 GHz system. So I will turn on it. Okay, turn on an FPV monitor. Okay, and look that in comparison. Okay, look at the speed associated with. Okay, look that. I've got the same on the same frequency, so it's funny. I would change probably the one. So what I will do, I will change the frequency of this one. So you have to click here on the frequency, and I will decrease it to something that they won't interfere. Now it's okay. They are not on the same band. Look at that. Okay, how fluid is the transmission? Let's compare with the Hubsan. Look at that, the same time of move. You can see is not super fluid. Okay, it means that at least to overlay probably the OSD information, I don't know exactly, or because there is a built-in DVR to record 720p, so it means that the signal is first encoded, especially to be stored in MP4 or AV format. There is some frame lost during this conversion, so it's not absolutely not super fluid compared to a real FPV eraser. So now we can already start to answer: is it an FPV eraser? Is not. Okay, we have close to 100 milliseconds of latency plus some frame are lost. We have something, in my first estimation, we have something about 18 frames per second. Okay, so at least when we are recording, so when we where is the transmitter, to record on the machine here, this one, we have to press this button. Okay, we have a beep. Now this is a left logo will flashing. Okay, and on the quadcopter we have this red light flashing. So now it's recording, and we can see that there is no extra latency or frame rate drop when is recording. Okay, so at least the bad effect is not amplified when the recording is done. So let's stop the recording. And good news, well, the recorded file here are in 720p, up to 30 frames per second, but as I said, the source is not at 30 frames per second. We have something about 1820, so it's useless. It means that some image in the video will be doubled, okay, because we have a higher sampling rate. Okay, so that's live. I think I started to make a good tour, but I want to show you about the mask. So I will stop here, okay, and we can remove very easily, and let's focus now on the mask. Ta-da-da. It's a big one, okay, and what I like, in fact, is the total length. You know, some other chain model are much shorter, and if you have whole eyes like me, it could be problematic, but we don't have any lens adjustment in terms of distance for the Fresnel lens. Okay, but at least it's longer, so maybe we'll compensate a little bit for whole eyes. How to open it? Just click here and we release it. Look at that, we have this type of Fresnel lens with a magnifying factor. And how to insert? Just here, take it, okay, and clips it. So it means that if you want to record on a DVR or some stuff like this, or to power on, you will need first to start the recording here by pressing this button. Okay, record. Okay, it's recording. Then insert into the FPV mask. Okay, and close it. Voila. So look at the result on the Google mask. I will turn on one more time. Okay, I hope it will bind. We try, or I will need to reboot. Yes, it's binding. So let's see the result. Ta-da-da. And the result is not so bad, but look on the top, we have some reflection here a little bit, but the image is largely increased, and I would say that for my poor eyes, is not out of focus, you know, that's great. And even more, I found that the inner dimension I can give them are not so bad to wear correction glasses. We have something by 12.5 centimeters by, and the height distance is even more larger. We have something about 67, and if you want I can even give the nose section and the we have something about 4 centimeters. So the video display is really not bad. Okay, look that. Even if we have due to the LCD screen as well as the lens Fresnel LED inside, we have some reflection, as you can get them. Okay, but look, that is pretty good. And look, now you can feel better the story about the frame rate, which is not constant. Okay, I think is now very clear for everyone when I'm moving. Okay, so compatible with FPV racing, not. So I like the goggle mask personally. It's a little bit heavy, okay, to wear, but the head strap is not so bad. Okay, and I would say to kill definitively the possibility to be an FPV racer, did you see on the radio any flight mode button? There is no. So no possibility to, for example, to turn on an acro mode, some stuff like this. Anyway, can be possible one day, maybe, because on the transmitter there is a micro USB port here, as well on the quadcopter. So if they want, by a firmware update, they can, if they want, maybe one day propose an acro. So the question to be an acro flyer is not completely lost in my point of view. Okay, so I made all the tour of the system, and it's time to check the performances in the field. I'm expecting to have, in terms of FPV range, about 100 meters. That's all, okay? And in terms of radio range, I think it would be much better because the RF chip is pretty good. We should at least have something about 200-300 meters. We have a buzzer, so that's great. If you lost it, it's not a problem. You will have to turn off your radio, okay, to engage, to be sure that let the buzzer ring. There is no possibility to let the buzzer ring by a special radio command. One more thing, okay, I forgot to mention how to calibrate the machine in terms of gyros. So I will turn on the machine one more time. And as written, okay, I will wait the binding, okay, fast flashing, and now it will be solid. So you don't have to harm the machine. To harm the motor machine, you have to push in lower outer. You have to push the throttle in the middle, then move like this very fast. In theory, it should fast flash. Okay, maybe I'm not completely. And sorry, you have to be in middle, push to the right, and then move like this very fast. And you can see it's entering into the gyros calibration. Let's do it one more time. That and the light. Be sure to be on a very flat surface, or after a crash is very important. Okay, so maybe here will be more obvious. Push here on the right, move it, and the gyro calibration starts. Okay, now it's time to check the performance in the field. Let's go. First demo flight of the new Hubsan H122. Okay, so today is particularly windy, but anyway, we will see how good is this flyer in windy condition. So we try to record both the built-in 720p footage, as well to record with the built-in DVR inside the FPV monitor, and I will plug everything into the goggles, and I will also record the FPV feedback with my SkyZone by selecting a common VFREC command, and shows the V1, okay, 5740 MHz. So let's engage the fly. I will start in lost condition to show you a little bit the punch out with these two S10mm brushed motors. Okay, so everything is here. I will select the video mode, and I will start recording. Yes, it's great. So here, and I will run my DVR here. Recording, great.
Okay, and let's now start. So to harm the machine you have to push the in lower outer direction. Let's go. Okay, so we can hear it's a little bit noisy. Let's see a puncher, but not so bad for brush motors. So let's see how it's flying. Relatively well. Yes, and it's powerful. So we have on the right sticks we have some speed mode, beginner rate, and if you click one more time you have the second speed mode, so even faster. Yes, not so bad. So what I want to do now is to record, so you have to press this button. I will return in beginner rate, and now I should have the recording. Yes, the left camera logo is, and let's see with the stable flight, okay, to see how are the footage. So as I said, you can see on the background it's particularly windy, but it's handling wind not so bad, thanks to the 100. Whoa, you can see the gusts of the wind, very strong, not so bad. So in beginner rate is more smoother. Yeah, though, and the wind is very strong. Okay, gusts over 50, 60 kilometers per hour, and managed to handle. That's great. So let's try now in pure FPV. Okay, and let's see how is it. So we stop recording, and you have to wait a couple of seconds to disarm or push inner direction, or one more time outer. Okay, to disarm also outer. And now I will use my FPV goggle.